bouncing back.
Yeah. Just conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. The fact that we're the hosts doesn't count. Like, if you got more interesting shit to say, we'll just let you talk.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes it way easier for us.
Okay.
All right, so 3, 2, 1. Hey, folks, welcome to Bouncing Brains. I'm Sean Hatfield.
And I'm Freddy G. And tonight we have a very special guest in the house. I was going to say building.
Technically,
Maddie.
right?
Maddie, and she is a great football player.
Yes.
That is the only reason I brought you in here. Because you are the only female football player that I know.
That you know.
Yeah.
And I'm the only cool one that's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, man. When you told me about that you were a football player, first of all, I didn't believe you. I'll be honest. I was like, "What do you mean? What type of football do you play?" And then when you told me I tackle women to the ground, I was like, "Okay, I'm listening."
You and me both, lady. No. What's wrong?
So yeah, that's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to. Well, not just that, but I did have questions
Get
about
to
that
know
because I'm curious. How did you get started with football?
With football, I started back in 2012. I think this is my fourth team. But since 2012, I've been playing, I guess, almost 5 years. 5, 12, what do you think I did? 6? 5? 4? Oh, yeah. Almost.
6 years, yeah.
The reason why I joined was because I've always been in sports since I was in middle school. So football is something different that I've never thought of playing, and which just deals with tackle football. So, why not tackle somebody? You know what I mean? It's not an everyday thing. You tackle somebody.
I like that logic. I do.
So it's like, first of all, it was more because I wanted to do it for cardio, for losing weight. Yeah. And, to when I get like to 100 or 200 years old, I'll be, man, I used to play football back in the day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the mentality you should have.
It's just like one of those YOLO things, one of those, what's it called?
Bucket list. Yeah.
Bucket list. Exactly. Yeah. So that's off of my bucket list. So, but aside that, I know that it had to wear like more. It was more like a not lingerie, but shorts, tank top. You know what I mean? Where you show the stomach.
The picture that you showed me, you weren't wearing that.
No, through the years, it started to cover little by little.
Oh, okay, and that's where we ended up.
Yeah, that's where we ended up. God. So I'm like, yes, I don't have to lose weight anymore. I can just play. You know what I mean? But
I've always wanted to ask you about that. Was it the league? I guess you're playing in. Like, is that tied to any of that? They do the lingerie bowl and all that stuff. Is it? I mean, Are we talking serious football here? Was it a little goofy on some of the teams you were playing with?
No, it's literally serious tackle football. I think not the lingerie, but the short, everything was more for an attraction, attention. Kind of like Hooters.
Yeah.
Gimmick.
Yeah.
It was a gimmick.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was real football. And we played, there's other girls in the team, in the valley and whatnot that we would play. And aside here in the valley, there's a team called the Austin Acoustics and other teams that I know of over there. But there's one friend of mine who's playing in that. And they literally have like almost underwear type, and where you can see your nalgas, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sean, why the fuck have we never gotten to one of these games?
Because I respect the purity of the sport.
Sean, ladies and gentlemen,
and plus ladies with road rash. That's I feel more sympathy than
yeah. And I mean, the tops were literally almost like a bra over there, the one in Austin.
Yeah.
But here it's a little bit more covered up. But I liked it because it wasn't much of that. It was just more of a, getting to know people, doing something different, and getting to show what you got. Like, I'm tough.
Right. I'll be honest. Purity statements aside, I don't think there's anything wrong with necessarily wearing the like less gear on,
Yeah.
as long as the safety's taken care of. That's
Yeah.
always my primary concern when it comes to the contacts.
Yeah, and it's literally tackle football.
Yeah.
You just have to wear the right gear to protect yourself from any
Yeah.
type of injury.
And
Doesn't get too like heavy-handed. You don't have some bruiser on the team.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like bruises.
No, bruiser. Like some chick out there just going, I'm gonna lay somebody out tonight. Somebody's going home with a
yeah,
concussion.
you have anybody like that?
I think that's more of a mentality, like just to be like, yeah, I'm gonna kick someone, and at the very end, it's like, shit, I can't do this. I mean, I'm not that type. I guess it depends on the person. We're like a family, you know what I mean? Like at the team, I mean at the field, we are against each other, but at the end of the game, we're a family.
Yeah,
you know,
I got
we
you.
care.
They're sportsmanship.
Yeah, we care, and of course, if somebody gets hurt. There's been a lot of injuries, people going to hospital, you know, whatnot, and getting injured, and at the end, we care. You know, we pray for each other, and we don't want nothing bad to happen to anybody.
Yeah. What position do you play?
I started off playing center and O-line, and through one season, I basically played all of them, mostly, you know, all of them, because it was a time where we were short in girls and we were just back and forth.
So you played receiver too?
No, I said all of them right.
Yeah.
But no, not receiver. But I mean,
I took you
O-line.
meant the line.
Yeah, the line.
Right.
No. Okay, but I also understood that you rotated.
Yeah, I
and you also
rotated
got-
in some positions, but my favorite one that I ended up playing barely this semester, this year, was defensive end and linebacker. So I really love defense because there's no rules.
I'm right there with you. That's where you get to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to worry about any of those little prissy ones behind you. You know,
Exactly.
I got to make a
You
hole
can do
for
whatever.
you.
You can, if you want to touch a girl's boob, it's like that. You know? If you want to punch them, if you want to, there's your
Nice.
chance. You know?
Nice.
I mean, I'm not lesbian, but it's just, yeah, you know, you want to bring her down, you'll grab her anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I got you.
But it's fun. I like it. I mean, hey, you know, no mercy. Yeah.
And when you, because I was serious when I told you that I didn't know that there was I didn't.
You're good, man.
You all right?
I'm checking cables, man. Keep
All right,
talking.
cool. I didn't know that you were actually that there was like a female football league or anything like that. So how did you find out about it? How did you?
I found out through my friend on Facebook. Obviously, when Facebook was created back in 2004. Just kidding. I don't know when Facebook was created.
Oh, it was back in 2004. I was like, that long ago?
We had wooden nickels. Yeah.
Before MySpace and before... my friend Jennifer, she told me about it. Hey, we're going to do a team. Would you like to join? I'm like, yeah, sure. You know, she was from high school. So that's how I just like, we're going to have tryouts. It was started off with the Cheetahs. It started off with the Cheetahs. And then I think I played with the Venoms. And then I played with the Jaguars.
So who created the league? Because it's a league, right? Well, first of all, how many teams is there?
I don't know exactly. I think
It's not 32 like the NFL, right?
no,
wait.
There's probably like 5-6 teams, but we do play against San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Corpus.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. What's the region size?
Yeah, like I think all the way to Austin,
Right on.
Laredo, as well.
Okay.
Laredo,
Nice.
San Antonio, Austin. Here in Harlingen.
And do you have to provide like your own, like you have to pay your own way?
Yes, or you can get sponsors.
Do y'all have sponsors?
Yeah.
You do?
We have sponsors. We can get our own sponsors to pay for equipment or to help us, like, because everything todo cuesta, like, it.
Of course.
You know, the referees, the field.
You live in America. Everything costs money.
I know. Everything costs money.
So you get sponsors, and I have a curiosity about that. I mean, when it comes to sports and all that, I know how the sponsorship works, but like for you, that you go out, you have to go out and be like, hey, can you help me out? You sponsor me. Like, how do you approach it? Like, do you have a sponsorship package that you work with, or do you literally like go to a business and be like, hey, can you help me out with this or whatever?
Oh, imagine. I mean, that was the way I would have had a gun or something. Hey, help me out. I'll talk to you. No, they give us a sponsorship form.
Oh, okay.
And from there, it says if they sponsor you, but you become a certain member, and you can get certain the benefits like you're part of the poster or the part of the T-shirt, or they'll announce you. You know, during halftime, things like you get certain credits,
gotcha.
Tickets for free or whatever.
Has the networking got a little bit better over the 6 years?
Yes.
Because I get the impression you kind of came in on the ground floor when they were first starting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Between the I guess different seasons, they added cheerleaders. As well. I think it was. I think that I remember. It was 1 year or two, if I'm not mistaken, and like they stopped.
Are there cheerleaders, guys?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No, there were girls. There were girls. So.
Cool. And when you started, like, what was it? Was it what you thought it was gonna be, or was it something totally different? Or you're like, oh, I overstepped the boundary, or maybe I shouldn't do it, or.
No, I just figured like since it was tackle football, I figured it was like guys playing like this. So this is what it feels to play like a guy.
Yeah.
Like a guy. But of course, in the guy version, it's more.
It's
more
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's just in girls we don't have as much. Como dice fuerza, like
power
more,
and strength. And
yeah, because they're bigger and they're 7 feet. No, right?
No, like 6 something. Yeah. In the 6 foot range. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different in men than in women, but the same power is there. You know, just different version, I guess. Because there's even football leagues for guys as well. I don't know if y'all knew that.
Yeah.
Right.
No, those I'm very.
Like here in McAllen.
Yeah, I'm very aware
Mavericks.
of those. Yeah.
Our coach also played football, so he would coach us, and then he would also play on his own team.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how does the off season work? Like is there a season? Like, do y'all have like 15 games or?
How many games we have?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I can't remember. I don't know.
Hey, hey, you were telling me the other day that you didn't join, like it's a season, so like you have to, it opens, you go practice, and then you sign up and all of that. But then you said that it, like, you have a certain time, and you had mentioned that for this season you couldn't sign up. When is it that you can sign up, and then like how much time do you have to?
They usually announce it before. They'll usually announce, hey, we're having tryouts a certain month. You know, if you're interested, you can join. So as soon as they announce it, you can start.
So did this year, like, is it?
They haven't announced anything yet.
So none of this has happened in 2018 yet.
Not yet.
Oh,
the season barely finished recently, maybe like a month ago too.
And did you play the last season?
This season, yes.
You did?
Yeah. I think towards the end of close to December, that's when they start announcing it and having preseason practicing and things like that.
Okay. Is there any payoff for the winning team at the end? Do they get a nice trophy or?
Yes. You get a big trophy and you get rings.
Ooh.
Nice, nice.
In one of the seasons, we played the championship games.
Nice.
So it was between us or the San Antonio Legacy. They've always won like every championship. So I've gotten to that point of a game, so to where we played like the main, you know what I mean, the main winning team.
Yeah.
So we lost, unfortunately, but I mean, hey, at least we made it, and
you went there.
Yeah.
How's the audience response?
The audience, it's they really take it to heart. They're always, you know, hey, that was illegal, no, bad call, ref, and they're always, you know, cussing and stuff.
Oh,
but they are there for the game, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that's with every sport.
Yeah.
I think in every sport, dude. I back in 2005, I think, 2005, I competed in the Special Olympics, right? And you would think, you know, it's a bunch of little special little kids, you know, they would have mercy and shit. Man, there was parents like yelling from the stands, he can't do that, he can't do that. That's an unfair advantage. I was like, lady, he is in a wheelchair. I mean, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, it gets competitive. It gets really competitive. I've noticed, especially in this country and in Mexico, like they don't give a fuck what you play, how you play it. Like it's really competitive. Whether if you're there, it's because you can play, and they don't give a shit. Like it gets competitive. They just want their child or their team to win, and that's the way. That's the way it's always been. I always relate that back to that to like the Special Olympics and whatnot. I mean, and it's funny because when you sign up, they just tell you that everything's for fun. No, it's really not. You better win.
I know.
Well, like when they I don't. Do they still have the hockey team down in?
The bees.
The killer bees. I
haven't
know.
heard. I haven't seen anything. I know the basketball, the Vipers.
Yeah.
They're making a new one in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
About Berta.
All about the money. Have you seen that god awful thing? It's
huge.
It's just on the skyline. I was going to say though, when they first had the hockey team, I knew a couple people that they originally started going because they were like, I've never seen a hockey game. I'll go, and then they kept going back because they just got into it, and like they're the ones coming out with like the foam finger, going like, like,
yes. I think there's a lot of things in the valley that people don't know. You know what I mean? Like. Well, of course, like women's football, people wouldn't know about the football here.
Yeah,
they're even making actually a Top Golf.
Yeah,
here in the valley.
Right, and it's right here. It's down that way.
It's
right?
on Jackson.
Yeah,
like by Jackson.
And I pass by it every time I go to work, and I see it. They got the tall nets.
Yeah,
and I was with a friend the other day, and we were coming back from work. And we were looking at it, and like the nets are really tall, and he was looking at it, and he was like, "Hey man, do you think that net is tall enough? You think they still won't like hit it over?" And the reason he was asking that is because if that ball were to go over, it'll hit one of the Bird Ogden cars that's there. So it's like, but they have good insurance, so they'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Well, you ever seen the municipal golf course in Edinburgh?
Yeah,
I think so.
Right there. Yeah. It's across from what used to be the hospital in the middle of town, and more than a few times, like I know people, and I've seen golf balls go flying by me where it's a couple guys out there having a few too many, and they aim the shot wrong, and
a strength come out of nowhere.
You know what? Have you ever been golfing?
Yes, one time.
Like real golfing or
miniature golf.
Miniature golf.
Okay, yeah.
Or the one on Olana. There's one on Olana. I don't know if that's considered.
Oh, they have the driving range. That one's cool because you can buy like buckets of beer and they encourage you. Go get shit faced and swing it. Because here's the thing: the more balls you hit, if you miss them, you get frustrated. You want to buy some more. So
exactly. Kind of like when you go to the carnival and you buy that little bucket of little.
Oh, that's a ripoff though, because you never land those fucking things on. And then to get one of these little prizes for like $40. No, I learned that a long time ago.
I was gonna say, when you get like a really good golf shot, like when you're out on the course and you can you're like, fuck it, I got 300 yards. I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna put everything into this. And even if you don't put everything into it, when you hit that shot solidly, it almost surprises you how far and fast that thing will go with just the littlest of effort. Like you just do a gentle swing, and all of a sudden this thing's like Mach 10 fucking flying down the fairway.
Right. It's like bowling.
Right.
It's almost when you do it the gentlest that you get like that perfect shot that you're like, I meant to do that.
And inside you're like, I don't know how the fuck that happened. It's just yeah. But I'm glad that now finally it feels like the valley. Well, I mean, it's been growing. It's been growing for over the past, I want to say over the past 10 years. It's grown a lot. Like I've seen it. But now it's starting to feel like the valley's getting more of the attraction, like the Bird Ogden Arena. And then what's the other one called in Hidalgo?
State Farm still?
Is it still State Farm?
State Farm Arena?
Yeah. They got the State Farm Arena. I was fucking happy when we finally got a Dave and Buster's, bro. I had been waiting for that shit to come down here. And then, I mean, that was fun.
Like a Peter Piper for adults.
Yeah, exactly.
That brings me to my next question.
Yes.
What kind of venues are you guys playing on?
What kind of venues?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what are the fields you usually playing on?
Yeah.
Usually on a soccer turf.
But
Or-
like where if you don't
Before we used to play they're here in Golazo, indoor.
Yeah.
Indoor or outside.
Yeah. I know.
And before it was also at a stadium, a high school stadium.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So either on turf or on grass.
See, now that's where the smaller clothing comes into play. Because I mean, I used to play football back in high school, and I had like road rash through those thick football pants, so I couldn't even imagine taking a slide like that on bare skin.
Oh yeah.
It's like, look, you can hit me as hard as you want, but we're standing up for this. Like,
Yeah, I've gotten bruised and my fingers been jammed and.
I want to say the first time, because Omar introduced me to you, and he was like, "Oh, this is Maddie. She plays football." And like, I looked over, and I think you had some god awful bruise going down your leg, and you were like, "Hi."
I remember.
Just the most soft spoken, sweetest person. Like, "Hi, I hit people for fun." I'm like,
Yeah, the Omar's awesome. I've seen them more like Omar and Luis, who are a good friend of mine. They've seen, especially Luis, like they've seen my bruises and they've seen like all tired and all brown and burned and
That's crazy.
it's just crazy. And then yet I'm still alive.
so how'd the cardio aspect work? Did you get what you wanted out of it?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I liked it, and it's just, I guess I learned. You know what I mean? Like I'm there, and like, okay, I want to do this and that. Yet, I have a life. I have a life, and at the same time, it's up to the person to. If you want to do it, you just have to be committed and put the time to it. And once in a while, I'll be on and off, But then it would slack, and then sometimes I'll pick myself up. And I think football taught me a lot, not just football. I guess playing, but in life in general. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how hard like it is or it gets, you just have to keep on going and try your best.
Yeah.
And it relates a lot, and I've learned a lot from football to life,
Okay.
or vice versa.
Yeah.
So that's why I like it.
And so another thing that I was curious about, if you don't mind me asking, and if you do mind, I'm still gonna ask you. So it doesn't. When you play football, like now, like right now, are you dating or do you have a boyfriend or anything?
No, I don't have a boyfriend.
So like because that's where my question was going. Like when you date or when you meet like a person or whatever, do you tell them right away that you play football, or when that comes up, like is it? I'm getting at, like, is it intimidating to them or does it not really matter?
No, actually, when I was dating somebody while I was playing football, like he was really proud of me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is my girlfriend. She plays football. What? You know what I mean? I'm like, so.
My girlfriend can beat up your girlfriend.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. It's just an advantage of like, hey, you need something, bro? Like, I got you, to a friend or whoever. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, tampoco I'm not going to, go kick somebody's butt. But if a worst case scenario, something happens that you see a friend or whatnot, like,
Yeah.
hey, what's going on? Your first reaction is try to do something,
Yeah.
Or I get
Not for everybody.
Was football the first contact sport you ever played?
Let me see, volleyball, basketball. I think everything's contact.
No, but it's because football.
I was having that argument with someone the other day. They were like, basketball's not contact. I was like, the way I play it is.
I mean, all those sports that I played, like volleyball, when you're hitting something, you're contacting the volleyball.
No. But it,
when you're
like,
playing basketball.
No, but we mean
somebody.
Yeah.
we mean as far as contact
Like
with
tackle?
another human and shit. That's more of like boxing and MMA. Those are full contact
Okay.
sports. Football would be considered a full contact sport as well.
I guess so.
Okay.
I'm
What?
thinking.
Honestly, even basketball. I mean, you get
Yeah,
on the,
even-
you get on the
Yeah,
court with
'cause
the wrong
ba-
people, and you
basketball
catch
in
a
the
sharp elbow
'90s,
and-
yeah, especially like the NBA in the '90s, you got all kinds of elbows and
Yeah, I think football. Yeah, I think football's only contact.
oh, okay. And the
Fifteen.
reason that I relate back to that question, when you're dating is intimidating because I remember one time I was in high school and I met this girl too and we would talk or whatever, but like this was months into talking to it, and then it finally came up and she told me just jokingly we were joking around and whatever, and she was like don't fuck with me because I'll kick your ass. And I laughed, right? And then she told me I'm a boxer. I box. And I was like, no, you don't. And I was like, she was like, I do. So she showed me like videos of her training, but I mean like really training, like hitting the punching bag and the speed bag. And then I really saw that she knew her shit. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch my tone next time, So, what like with her, and she was kind of like you. She was real cool, calm, collected. And her thing you would have never noticed because like she was really like girly, and you know what I'm saying. And so I would have never like thought anything of it. But then once she told me about that, she felt bad because she said that every time she dated, that was the problem that she had with other men, that they were intimidated. They were intimidated because she could handle her own and shit. So she was like, "That's not gonna be a problem." And I was like, "No. If we go anywhere, I'll be like, hey, handle it." So.
Oh my God, he pinched my ass. Why didn't you punch him? What?
Yeah.
What you need me for?
Yeah.
I guess it all depends on the person. Just because you do something, it doesn't identify who you are. You know what I mean? I think personally, you can do so many things. You can be me. I'm a multiple person. I love doing anything. I want to be a ballet. I mean, I don't have the right body for it, but I want to try. Football. I do so many things, and I guess just be yourself. That's what I think. I try to be myself as, and yeah, I play football and things like that, but it doesn't mean like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, when it's football time, it's time for football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be punching people as I'm passing by or whatnot. It's just, just be yourself. And I guess in that point of where the girl goes, because it's boxing, or what does she do, MMA?
Yeah, boxing.
Doesn't mean she has to apply it in her life,
Yeah.
And yet some women are like me. I'm independent. Like, I don't depend on nobody or whatnot, and I feel like, I need to defend myself. You say I didn't play football, I mean, I'll still be me. Like, I try to defend myself as much as possible. Yet the advantage of playing football, it just helps me get stronger. Or help me like know. You learn how to defend yourself in other ways. So it's just a way of what you've learned. So yet you like to apply it in your life.
Yeah,
and I think that's
it's more of a character.
Mm-hmm.
It's like with boxing, because I follow football and boxing a lot. Like, those are the two sports that I follow faithfully. So and I also used to train at a boxing gym and stuff like that. Yeah. So I remember my coach used to always tell me, like, a fighter is not, you don't make those in the gym. Mm-hmm. Like, a fighter is a fighter. It comes from their character. And it's like you said, it's one of those things where you have to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. Like, turn it on when you step into the ring, but make sure that you can turn it off when you step outside. You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to what you're saying too, that it's more of your character. Just because you have that fighter spirit, that fighter character, it doesn't mean that you're not a good person and you know how to handle yourself. Yeah. Like, outside is just a plus advantage that you that you have.
Like, one of my favorite observations, I've known a couple people that have trained in boxing and like have just been fascinated with myself for a number of years. And one observation that I really liked was, you may never become good at throwing a punch, but if you train long enough, you learn not to blink when the punch is coming at you.
Yeah.
So like, do you
Yeah.
notice a little bit like, is there like that confidence boost? Like once, like the first time somebody just laid you out, you get up and you go, okay, that's not so bad. I'm alive. Kidneys are still in place. We're good.
Right, boobs are still there.
Oh shit, one's wonky. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, it's like when you say, whenever you fall, get up and do it again.
And try again.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a song too, right?
Now, were you ever hit to the point where you're like, oh shit, maybe this is not for me?
Nah.
No.
I mean, I already knew what I was going in for.
But I mean, but I guess where I was getting at is like, have you ever really been hit hard, like to where you were like, oh shit?
Yeah, I've gotten hit hard and to where I just black out. Not black out, but you just start seeing like, whoa, like white or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's where, you know, you have to pay attention to what the coach is telling you. You have to learn how to do it right. That's why practice makes perfect. If you don't practice the way they're telling you,
yeah.
te vas a descalibrar or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Descalibrar. The definition of descalibrar, like whoosh. Yeah, and it's true. Like, you practice the right way, the right precision, the right, you know, how you're supposed to hit, then you won't get hurt. But if you hit wrong, you'll get hurt.
You'll get hurt. Yeah. I'm saying that because again, like when I remember when I trained for boxing, I also got to spar, right? And I remember one of the first times that I sparred. Well, first of all, to my own defense, I didn't know that sparring included hitting in the face, right? I didn't know that. They didn't tell me that. So I was hitting body, and I was getting them, you know, because I never went for the face.
What's spar?
When you fight, but with headgear and your gloves and everything.
It's
but
kinda
it's
like a
like
scrimmage.
like a scrimmage.
Yeah.
But it's to sharpen your skills and stuff like that. So we were going and I was hitting the body, but you can hit in the face too. I mean, hence that's why you have the headgear.
Yeah, that shit ain't for show.
Exactly. Well, nobody told me that, right? So then, this dude caught that. Like he caught that I kept going to the body. So then I was leaving my face open, and then this dude just hit me with the meanest left hook, but clean, like right on the cheek. And all I remember was I didn't black out, but he hit me, and from the waist down, like I felt everything fell asleep. Like in my mind, I was still awake. And I was like, don't fall. But my legs did not respond. So I landed flat on my back. And it, like you said, I was there and I started seeing the white spots and stuff like that. So I was just there. And they went up to me and the trainer went up and he's like, dude, you're supposed to cover your face. And then he's like, are you all right? Can you get up? And I was like, I just like to sit and collect my thoughts here. Just give me a second, you know? But when with me, like that was the first time that I had ever been hit like that, and like I took a clean hit, and that was like, oh shit, like this is what it feels like, you know, like, and then I started thinking like people do this for a living, but then and that was just training, like that was training, and I was trying to get in shape too. So and then there I was young, I was like 16, 15 years old. And I was like, I have to decide, like, do I want to continue to do this? Because I was doing it for the cardio, like, I was doing it to get in shape and stuff. But I grew to love it. I love like boxing and stuff like that. So I kept doing it, and I told my trainer, I was like, dude, next time tell me that during a sparring session I can hit people in the face too. So,
Yeah.
because he kept telling me you need to cover your face, and I was like, well, I didn't know that was gonna be an issue. So from there I learned.
That's usually an instinct, Freddy.
No, well, I mean, but again, like I said, they told because you know what? Before we started, they said they told us both. They were like, remember, this is sparring. This is not a real match. So and then
That's just a warning for those psychos that want to go in there and throw like haymakers.
yeah, but I had the headgear on, so I was like, okay, if I have headgear, and my mentality again, I was 15 years old and I didn't know anything. I had the headgear, so my mentality was, okay, the headgear means don't hit in the face, you know. I thought that's what it meant, but apparently not. But I learned. It took one clean shot.
You ever seen the Olympics, the Taekwondo, and they have those big body shields on the front? Yeah, that's because they don't want you to break a rib, but you're definitely allowed to kick them there. They encourage it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any serious injuries so far?
Serious? No. Well,
anything that gave you pause, where you're like, this may be a little bit questionable.
Just my ankle. I would just ankle. ¿Cómo se llama? I
Sprain?
sprained my ankle. Yeah, just probably 2 times. But that's it. It was really swollen. I don't know if you saw it one time, but
no concussions or anything. Right?
No. That's the smallest thing, or I guess the most sprained ankle.
Do the boob shots hurt?
The boob shots.
Like you've never been like when they
hit on the boob?
Yeah.
I think I did.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like to where you felt it and you're like, oh shit, that hurts.
No, I think not really, but you know,
good gear.
Yeah,
everything's.
That was gonna be my next question. Does the gear help to where like it doesn't? Really...
I think it only covers like half.
But I meant more so like, does it help so that it doesn't hurt when they hit you?
Well, we're supposed to hit like kind of wrapping them.
Wow.
So we try to avoid this part.
Okay. So when you tackle, it's more like a takedown tackle. It's not a hit kind of.
Yeah, it's supposed to be wrapping, tackle them down. Not. Okay. I mean, you could hit like that, but you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So.
I got you.
It's because at the moment you just go for it.
You just do it.
Think about it, and that's how injuries happen.
Yeah.
And everybody's playing relatively clean. You're not getting any like spearing or roll blocking.
Sometimes people can play dirty. They can throw you dirt. No, they can pull your hair or they pull your everything just to knock you down. And sometimes you'll fall and you'll hit yourself. Like,
now in the NFL. There's a rule for players that have long hair. Mm-hmm. The long hair, the NFL considers it part of the uniform. Yeah. So which means that if it's long and they grab it, that's legal. Like it's not a penalty or whatever. You're saying that if they pull your hair when you're playing, like they're not supposed to do that?
That came out a lot. I really didn't pay attention much because I always had my hair in, so I really didn't care. But that was happening a lot. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, if you're gonna play football, play right, not because they're running and you can't go out like the girls that would run after my teammate. You know, they couldn't catch them, so they tried to catch the next thing that was flying. So
which was like the hair or whatever.
Yeah, and it's just like, hey, that hurts. Like, what are you doing? So it didn't look fair. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I always found that funny about some of the NFL players that have like the heavy like either dreads or like braided up. It's like because if it's light, you know, you pull on it, some of it's going to come off. But like the whole reason you can't stick the braids up underneath the helmet because there's not room. Yeah. And the advantage is they're heavy enough that if you get a hold of that, you can get some leverage.
Exactly. I mean, I've never seen that in real NFL.
I have.
I think at that point, that's one of those probably those respect things. Cause there's not a lot of the old school psychos still playing in the NFL.
No, but one that I remember, the reason that they made that rule was because there was this player. He's retired now, but there was this player, Marion Barber, that had really long dreads, right? So when he was playing, it was illegal for you to grab hair, period. You know what I'm saying? But most players had their hair in the helmet. But because of him and he had his dreads long, people kept pulling and it was illegal, and they were complaining. Or they were like, it's not fair, because he can't put it in the helmet and it's there. They were like, if it's there. And so then they changed it and they said that hair is part of the uniform. So you can. It's perfectly legal. And then I think eventually, I want to say he didn't cut them off. No, because with dreads, if you cut them off, you do have to cut them off. So I think he did, towards the end of his career, he did cut his dreads off. But that was like towards the end. He only played like for one more season and then he retired. He sucked anyway.
No.
I don't have no opinion on Marion Barber.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot.
I don't even know who that
He
is.
he doesn't follow football much. He played.
I like the sport. I don't give a fuck who's on the field.
Yeah, he played for the Cowboys for like 5 seasons, and he played for the Redskins 1 season, and then he ended his career with the Bears. I think that was the last time that he played. And when you're actually out there and you said you play with other teams, so I'm guessing, and if you can't talk about it and if you can't really speculate, it's cool, but I'm guessing somebody that organizes and somebody that put it together, somebody's making money, right? So where does that money?
What's the profit model here?
Yeah.
Profit model.
Yeah, like who's getting that cash?
I don't know. I know it's a league, a women's league. That's all I know.
And okay, because I was gonna say, like, do they give it like to nonprofits or?
I think it's a nonprofit.
I would assume a little bit goes to the league so they can maintain the, get the schedule together.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I
but
don't
y'all
know,
don't get paid. Yeah.
We don't get paid for it.
Oh, okay.
It's just more of us volunteering.
Yeah.
I think we try to raise money we pay our own uniforms. I mean, of course, if you need sponsorship. I don't know how it works.
Are you allowed to extend the sponsorship to like, hey, if I can get somebody to pay me a little bit of cash to, I don't know.
To help me and stuff? Yeah, I mean, it's like
gas
anybody
money,
can be.
Lunch or something,
Yeah, anybody can be your sponsor. I mean, and if they want to give you more for whatnot, gas or what you say, it's up to them.
Yeah.
Do some commercials. It's like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It just depends on the sponsor,
Cool.
There's no limit in what they can help you with.
Are you getting the returning fans? Like, are you starting to like recognize like, hey, they were here last year?
Yeah, it's usually the people that are they're playing the same again. You recognize them and
right on.
Yeah. And now to kind of switch it up a little bit, but like as far as comedy, how did you? Because
he thought I was a comedian.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
She's funny, but no.
Yeah, I'm funny.
You didn't know, man. Like I actually thought. How did I run into you? I think it was because of Rudy. I asked Rudy, or Rudy told me something about a female comedian from Corpus. And she was like, look her up because if you're going to go, it was the first time I was traveling to Corpus. Because if you're going to want to perform over there, she knows everybody in town. Look her up, whatever. And I was like, okay. So I started looking. I remember. And then he said, she's on my friends list. Like, look her up. But this dude, I didn't give me the name.
Love you, Rudy.
You know what I'm saying? So whatever, like, so I'm there looking or whatever, and I came across your page, and the only reason I messaged you because from what I had seen and followed and whatever, you were the only one there that your page said that you were from
from
Corpus and I was like, I got her. So I messaged, and to my fucking knowledge, it was it wasn't you. And just for the record, I never found that person that he was talking about. I went to Corpus at one time. I hooked up with somebody else. I was still able to do a couple open mics over there, but it was through somebody else, word of mouth and whatnot. But I messaged you and we just kind of hit off the conversation and
I'm like, I would like to do
yeah, we kept going. And then that's when I was asking her, I was like, so you a comic? And she was like, I'm funny, but no.
But I mean, I'm not related to comedians, but it's just like I've met lots of comedians. Maybe I started in the comedy world in 2016, 2015. That's when I started to meet everybody. Like,
and well, I mean, now I know that you're not a comic, but what like
just in the real world.
What attracted you to well, are you like a really big fan of comedy? Like aside from us, well, I mean, you never seen me on stage, but like aside from your local comedians, do you have a favorite comic and do you follow comedy like from?
No, I don't have a favorite comic. I think everybody's my favorite. Like, I love everybody. I mean, I first met Raymond Horta, and then I met Mario, and then I met Mario Salazar. I met, and then that's when I started meeting Omar Rodriguez, and then from there he introduced me. Omar introduced me. Hey, would you like to go to Recuerdos? I think it's downtown,
right
on 16th Street. Yeah, so
that was a while back.
Yeah, a while
Is
back.
it still there?
Actually, I think that's where I was introduced to you. Is we were setting up to do a run of shows there. That was the one I was telling you. We had some trouble with one of the guys was really into doing it, and the other guy was almost dragging his heels. I mean, he probably would have locked the door on us if he had the choice, man.
Yeah, to be honest, that's when I first I don't know what I was doing, and I started I want to do something today. So I heard of Raymond Horta, right? And I want to go see his show. I've never gone to a comedy show. So I saw him first, and then that's why I started to meet the whole line of comedians. And when I met Omar, he's like, hey, we're going to have this thing at what was it, like a show or some type of drama or whatnot?
We were doing it was after, I think it was during spring break, but it was after Valentine's Day. But we were working on this goofy idea of kind of like a couples show where we'd have people come on and the embarrassing questions.
It was like a show, and
I think we even talked you into doing a
be part of it.
Yeah,
and I'm a people person. I'm down for whatever, and I'm not a comedian, but hey, I've been on stage before, not with comedy, but I've done pageants. I've sang on stage.
You sing?
I used to sing. I used to be in the choir. I'm involved in a lot of things.
You responded like he was about to ask you to hit a duet.
No, I will not. And I mean, I've helped with bands, like Christian bands before. Like whenever the bands would come down, like Mercy Me, Newsboys, David Carter Band. They would come down, and I guess whoever was in charge of them, the manager or whatnot, he would call me up. Hey, you have volunteers? So I'll be in charge of looking for volunteers to help those bands with merchandise and whatnot, and it was fun.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, I'm used to being on stage as well because of pageants. Mm-hmm. So I used to be in pageants, and I used to do modeling and all this stuff, and so I met Omar, and he told me about it. Hey, would you like to be in this? Like, sure, I love all that, going back and forth. I love all entertainment. I love movies. So I always wanted to be in one. I always wanted to be in this.
So why? No, you didn't. When I asked her the first time, she was like, I don't know.
Nah, you liar. I mean, I'm all excited. But yeah, he's like, yeah, would you like to do this? Like, sure. So I went, and I think it was canceled. So then that's when he's like, here, we're going to have a show. We have this. And Omar's really she'll bring you to the show. And from there, I started going, and I started to meet, they had open mics and whatnot. And I started met Rudy, and what is it? Sean, of course.
Right.
All these beautiful comedians and Sonia, like they're all awesome and they all became like family. You know what I mean? And little by little, more started coming, like John Stringer, Mr. Short, what's his name? Mr.
Talking about the literal short gentleman. Clinton Shorter.
Clinton.
Yes.
I mean, through all these years, all these beautiful comedians from everywhere, like Mr. ¿Cómo se llama? Oh my God.
She said Mr. Short, and I was like,
Mr.
that's a rapper.
Shorter.
Bobby, like everybody. It's just that's how I got involved with everybody, and me that I'm a people person, and like aside, I don't know. I guess I do so many things that I do photography as well. I would take pictures.
Oh, you were
for
telling me
them.
about that.
Yeah, I would take pictures for them. Sometimes I work for like a dessert events as well. So I would take them cookies or help them with merchandise. I don't know. I'm just whatever y'all need. I'm here.
Hey, I still would like to. I know when we started talking or when we started messaging or whatever. It was that time. It was a week. I think I met her a week before I did that show at the Reserve. So that night when you told me that it's like, oh, I do photography, and I asked you, oh, like with a camera, like with an actual camera and everything, or you mean like your phone? And it's like, no, I got a camera and everything. Mm-hmm. I told her that I wanted her to go take pictures of me during
a show,
during my set.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because what I've been trying to work on is I've been trying to work on my reel, and I need pictures of me during my set or what have you, and which I'm still holding you to that. I hope that you can come and take pictures of me during one of my sets or whatever. And that night she was gonna go, but I think it was your second day of school, right?
Yes.
And she wouldn't. You weren't able to. She wasn't able to make it that day because of school.
You know, like a lot of this stuff you're mentioning, I had no idea you were into. Like, how do you have the time for this shit? You go to school.
I was thinking that too.
Playing full contact football.
Exactly. Actually, now that I started school, I'm actually going for professional massage therapy. So I am down to 6 months now. I mean, I need 6 months to go. And hopefully, God willing, next year in February, I should graduate. You know, I'm going to put the best I can. And I want to own my own business for that.
That's where I was going. And like, I was going to ask you, what do you plan to do? So you want to have a massage parlor?
I want to maybe, I mean, either go to their houses or maybe I have a little place. And I don't know. I'm just really giving, and I know I'm supposed to charge, right?
I'm guessing playing the football, you know at least a couple women who have some, muscles that need massaging.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, it's just aside. I mean, when I posted, I started going to school I'm going to start going to school for massage. There's like a line of people that already messaged me like, hey, like, let me know when you're done. I'm like, yes. Like, I already have my clients and I haven't even finished graduating.
That's the way to do it.
And yeah, man, like I love, I don't know. I love, it sounds bad. Like I love pleasing people. Like I love, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because everybody goes through stress and I've been learning a lot about it. Like about chakras. Somehow.
You don't
about the third eye and all this calming and stress. And school has taught me, well, because of the field, it has taught me a lot about massaging and of course in real life how when it deals with everything in general, like it's true, like we have to keep ourselves healthy and try not to stress too much because it's on ourselves and everything and it portrays how we live life, and you have to keep ourselves living longer. And it's true.
Right on.
Right.
And
you've got the violence on one end and the gentle touch on the
other. Yes.
And like as far as the massage goes, well, what have you learned so far? Like as far as because you've been going to school for how long?
Barely a month. I actually passed my finals, so thank God I moved to the next mod. So I'm like, yes.
Cool. And what? Because I know, and I don't know because I went to school for this and I didn't. My my cousin was going to school for a massage therapist. He's a guy, but he was about to graduate when he passed away, so he didn't get a chance to graduate or whatever. But I was gonna ask you, when you like in your first month of school, what is it that you already know, like that's because the reason I'm asking is because I learned from him that there's a lot of things that go like into massage, like they teach you a lot. It's not just lay down and let me touch you or whatever. Like there's a science behind it is basically what I'm saying. And I was learning that from him. So like within your first month, what have they taught you behind like the massage and how it works or how you should do it or whatever?
My first month, just to barely learning from the chest, I guess, up. That's my first mod. So I've learned how to massage the head area. I learned how to. There's a spinal fluid that runs from obviously the whole spine. So there's a trick, not a trick, but some type of movement that I'm supposed to move the head. And I'm just there. I tried it on my friend, and I had him there laying down, and I'm like, let me try this on you. Is it okay? He's like my little guinea pig. Guinea pig. Yeah, he's like, I'm down. So I tried it on him, and let me try something. So I did it on him. I don't know how to say it, but I put my hands across this area here in the bottom. Yeah. And I just sat there for a while, for maybe like 5 minutes, to where he fell asleep. I'm like, yes, that's my goal, for him to relax.
But you didn't kill him, did you?
Yeah, he died for a while. I'm just kidding. No, he that was my point. My point was that I wanted to do is make him feel relaxed. To
the point that he fell asleep.
Because as soon as you let your spinal fluid like run smoothly, it has like a movement. Everything, you don't feel as tense as much. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what sometimes nos sentimos like stress and So once you let that flow, you feel like relaxed, And I did it on him, and he's like, "How do you feel?" But he was already asleep. Okay, yes, I did my job.
And that's
I'm gonna scribble a penis on your forehead, and my job is done.
Like, oh man, that's a good idea. Next time, I got you.
That was my whole point. See what I'm saying? Like that whole spinal fluid, and there's fluid in your spine that if you work it or whatever, and it does a certain thing. That's exactly the point I was trying to make. Like for example, something that I'll never forget from my cousin was that there is, because like I said, he was about to graduate. So basically, how can I explain it? And you probably know a little bit about it, but supposedly that you get stressed and then your muscles get tense.
Yeah.
And then we have muscles here in the chest, and correct me if I'm wrong, but those muscles, when they get tense, they put pressure on your heart, right? And that's bad. So, but he told me that it's not good to the first instinct is like, okay, this muscle's sore or whatever the case is, like massage this muscle. And it's like when they're tense like that and there's pressure on your heart or whatever, it's not good to do that. So he said that there was points in your feet. Basically, long story short, there's points in your feet that are supposed to massage your heart. No, not your heart, but your chest muscles, and relieve the pressure from your heart.
Well,
and I didn't know.
You'll know about that trick about if you're nauseous, there's like a little nerve like right back on the back of your hand by your thumb where that webbing is, and you just kind of pinch and like rub on there, and it you can relieve nausea that way.
I think there's a medicine for that, right? There's a medicine that they prescribe you when you're nauseated. They put like something here or something like that. I don't know.
Haven't heard that one.
No, I haven't heard that one. I don't know that shit either.
Yeah, I only know that one because I know people that have problems with like
nausea and stuff.
Yeah, motion sickness and stuff like that.
Okay.
So.
Oh no.
But yeah, there's a little. I mean, have you gotten into any of the? I would imagine with when you're working the neck and if I gather from what you were saying about that little maneuver back there, you're trying to basically maybe straighten out the neck and open up that the blood flow and all
Yeah.
that. Right.
Yeah, and I've also learned that, when I'm massaging, because sometimes I'll be nervous because it's my first time. I've done it before I even started school, so they say I'm a natural with my hands. So I'm like, yeah. So that's what motivated me. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Like,
Yeah.
And I've learned when I was massaging my teacher, I learned that she's like, just don't get nervous, and because it's my first time with the teacher.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, fine. And, just feel them, just make sure that their muscles are soft, they're getting soft. You can tell right away. I mean, okay. Feel them, get the rhythm on, and don't be too tense, with me. Aside, adding to that, I learned how to do oral massage.
Okay.
I mean,
The question here is your oral or theirs? Which,
if anybody's
you like sticking a finger in the mouth and like massaging.
It's actually the proper
Something went.
The oral
was
part.
that me? Yeah, that was me.
Check 1 2. I'm trying to figure out what got disconnected there. Hold on.
It's okay.
All right? The plug's still in the laptop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're still getting levels.
I have no idea what that was. Sorry, folks.
It's okay.
Got excited.
Speaking of oral, no,
yeah.
it's actually
now
called
back to the oral part. I'm very interested now. So
I'm not even taking it in a dirty place.
I
I'm
like to take it in a I just
Don't get me wrong.
like to shock y'all, men.
dirty or clean, I will listen. Is all I'm saying.
Let's just say that wouldn't be the first time oral has come up on this podcast.
Yeah. It really hasn't, and it won't be the last.
I just think it's funny. It's just everybody's anyways. Okay, no, it's actually called intraoral. Intraoral.
That doesn't make it any better.
No, I mean, I don't know. It's just basically you put your finger, always with the glove, inside the mouth, which is a masseter, which is this area. So you're massaging all this, and then anything that, because all this is muscle, all this as well, both sides. So you're massaging that, and then you massage the very back of where the last tooth is at, that part, and you put pressure on it. And they tried it on me, and I tried it on my teacher, and it works. It releases lots of tension and stress. I'm like, damn, to where I made my teacher made her eye open more. So if you massage inside, you're massaging inside of the muscle.
I didn't know that was a thing, but that's actually something I've done before, because I've gotten that. I don't know if you've ever had that where you just get stressed out and the muscle here just starts contracting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's happened to me before, and
I've never heard that until I started school, and I've gotten massages before, like massage places.
Yeah,
I've never seen that before, and it's not really rare for people to do that. So now it's just like, that's interesting. Like, I never knew that. No, I don't think people know about it as much, but it is out there. If you Google it,
right,
they do that. I'm like, wow, maybe it's because it's a valley, right? But
that
I would like to apply it, in the future to my clients. Hey, have you heard of this? Because maybe people feel uncomfortable,
Yeah.
Well, like you said, I don't think a lot of people take that into consideration. That's all muscle. I mean, just two pieces of bone connected by just a whole bunch of muscle.
Yeah, so it's new. And I'm like, wow, never knew that.
That's why I mean I knew the muscle part. I didn't know that, but now that I connect the two, it makes sense. But I would have never thought of hey man, if you massage this muscle, because it is it is a muscle. The only reason, and I'm not because I'm smart, but the only reason that I know that this is muscle is because again, when for the boxers or whatever, there is an exercise where. And it's not a mouth guard. They use a mouth guard when they box, but there's this other thing that it's. I'll be honest, I forgot what it's called. But basically, they put it in their mouth. It's like a mouth guard, but it's smaller, and it does the same thing that a weight does. It works out a muscle.
Okay.
And all you do is you put it in and it fits your mouth because they mold it to your mouth. So, and all you do is walk around. You can walk around for like 30 minutes at a time and you just chew. Like if you're chewing gum. But it's really hard. And what that does, it's working out your muscles. So when they hit you like they hit me, you'll be able to withstand more of the hit or whatever. But that my point is that was the first time I had ever heard that this is you have a muscle here and you have to work that out too. That's why also I don't know if you've ever seen like in a real boxing match, like 20 minutes before they go out to the ring, that's why they all chew gum, because you need to get your jaw loose, because you never want to get what they call a cold jaw, because if you keep your jaw stuck in one place and they hit you, you're more than likely to go down, because it's not like it was never ready for like a hit like that. So they chew gum or whatever. But in the gym, they use that thing to like work their muscle or whatever.
I was gonna say that there's a I forget what the brand name is, but I've seen it a couple times where it's gum that's specifically advertised as like tough, like it's. I mean, it's just bubble gum, or not bubble gum, but chewing gum. But
I've never seen that. I've seen those. Those mouse guards that they use to work out. They actually sell like at real boxing gyms that we only have like one down here. I've seen that they sell them. They're expensive. They're like $60-$70, but they actually do like they work. So I mean they work if you're gonna be again in a contact sport or whatever. But
it's the same thing like when singers do practice, they open their mouth and they start.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that crazy asshole that used to. What was the Creed?
Creed?
With arms wide open, and he just had those like you could see the muscle twitch as he's singing. It's like chipmunk looking motherfucker, but hey, it was the enunciation on the words that gave him that style of singing. But he just looked goofy as hell doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you want to do your business, and you want to have like either out calls to where you go to people's houses or what have you. Yeah. Aside from the massage thing, because if I'm not mistaken, you're a medical office specialist. Right?
I'm a medical assistant / clerical.
Oh, okay.
But when I got hired, they were looking for a front desk, so I started working since front desk since then. And I like it. I deal with patients, and it's a children's clinic.
Got you.
So,
and where I was going with that is, aside from the massage therapy, was there anything? Because you do a lot. You like you say, you play football. You always played sports. You're into all kinds of other activities that you do. But was there any? Like, was there anything else, like, that you ever wanted to do, like, business-wise or something that you wanted to pursue, other than, like, the massage therapy or anything like that?
Acting.
Acting.
I would like to be, like, in a movie, even as a person.
Have you ever, as an extra?
Doesn't matter.
Have you ever like tried or auditioned or submitted anything?
I'm trying to think of if I have been in something, but I can't remember. I don't remember.
I'm telling you,
trying to think, but I can't.
Because that like that it's cool. It's kind of fun, but it's a lot of people think it's easy. And I can act, whatever. But I'm telling you, because I've auditioned a couple of times. I auditioned because I used to live in LA. I auditioned for a cell phone commercial. It was a Japanese cell phone commercial in LA, and I auditioned, and I didn't get the part. And it was a freaking 45-second commercial, and I just didn't get it. Then I auditioned to be an extra for a movie también. I didn't even get picked up for an extra, and I wasn't gonna do anything. I was just gonna be an extra, and I didn't get it.
Freddy, you're horrible at just standing there.
Exactly. And that's what I got out of it. And then here, and that was like I guess you can say the biggest thing that I've ever auditioned for was, this was like 2 years ago. There was some guy, I don't know who he is, but he's some big star, was some big star from the Disney Channel, and they were gonna have a new series of something, and they were looking for actors or whatever. So I auditioned for that, and but I also but that one was more intense. Like you actually had to go in front of like a panel and like perform a part, and I just I did it, but I didn't get it or whatever. But because you're saying with acting, and what a lot of people don't know is like that's why there's like a lot of acting coaches and stuff like that. And that's why I was asking, have you ever tried to like actually pursue it? I mean, even if you didn't get it,
not really like look for it or anything. I mean, I guess it's just for fun. I guess something I want to do like for the rest of my life. But if the opportunity comes, I wouldn't mind. I mean, but I've been even if haven't been in acting, but I've met famous people or singers and whatnot, and that's just the beauty of it. Of like, oh, I met that person, you know.
yeah,
I remember one time I met Pee Wee, the guy from me.
No, wait, which one?
Pee Wee, not Pee Wee Herman.
I thought that's what I was thinking of.
I don't know. I think I did. I've been to places to where I haven't been in acting, but I've been like where they see them. Like there was this novela a long time ago. It's called Preciosa. I don't know. It's a novela from Mexico, and I was there like watching them shoot. You know, a scene. I'm like, oh, I remember that novela. I came out like a few days later, and I've been close to where America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
I didn't try out, but I was one of those helpers. You know.
Oh, cool.
Where you help them like how they record, and I would see everything. I'm like, damn, this is all fake. Like, you know, they made
it's all a stage.
Yes, like I mean, there was real people are trying out, but they made them do like, okay, at this, we're gonna record y'all pretending that you guys are in shock, or you guys are gonna do this now. Like everybody's like, what?
That's crazy.
I didn't get to meet J-Lo, but you know, there's real judges, but I think that's only for the first level, and then
because there's a process. Like even if I would have got like the one that I went down here, even if I would have been choked, because they were gonna choose 50 people, and there was thousands. Like, well, no, maybe not thousands, but like they were gonna choose 50 people out of like 500 or whatever. And even if I did get chosen or whatever to get past that part of the audition, I had to go back to it was a 1 weekend thing. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I had to go back the next day and then do something else, and then after that I had to go back on Sunday and do something else, and then Sunday afternoon they were gonna like let me know if you were like chosen or not. But there's a process. That's another misconception that a lot of people think. They think that I go to one audition and if I get it, they call me and I'm good. It's just even for commercials, it's not like that. But the experience is fun. Like I had a lot of fun doing the Japanese commercial one. That was fun. I did want to get it, but.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to do like a voiceover or
the
voice, cartoons or whatever. You know, it's something. I'm just a go-getter. I like to work. I love working. So anything, if it comes, you know what I mean, the opportunity comes, I want to do it, you know.
You know what you should try, because I think you have the personality for it. I think you should try to really write, to really sit down and write, like try doing a comedy set. even if it's just 5
I would like to
minutes.
try it. I mean, just for fun. I mean, I don't know.
Have you ever actually like thought it all? Not that you've done it, but have you ever thought it all the way through to
Like
where,
to just go for it?
no to where you were like, oh, like have you ever thought of a joke that you would perform? That you think?
Not really. I think I would just talk. I think if I were to just go for it or do it, I think it would just be what I've experienced from my life, or think. It's funny because things that I've seen, like people do comedy, like they you listen to them and you're like, yeah, it's true, that's happened to me, and that's why you laugh.
It's relatable.
Because, you laugh because it's like, well, I thought of that too. Yeah, that's what my mom does,
Yeah.
And I mean,
I think that's really what we're all kind of striving for, is to say that thing that like rings in somebody's head where it's like they almost think it was their thought.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, I thought of that, or what? Like, because people are not embarrassed, but it's just like, I wouldn't say that in front of public, like, But when somebody else says it, they laugh because it's like, that's funny.
Like he's saying it for me.
You said it for me.
Yeah. I completely.
I think it's true. I think it's true.
I completely get you. I see it the same way. And it wasn't until I actually crossed that hurdle that you're saying of actually saying the things that people are afraid to say that I started becoming like funnier. Because at the beginning I was like, no, I can't say that because. And then the funny part was that I remember my first thought was like, no, I can't say that because they're gonna laugh. And I was like, wait a minute, idiot, that's the point. So once I got through that, I was like, oh yeah, fuck it, just
never take your mama's advice on comedy. It's like they will laugh at you.
That's the point. So
one thing I did learn that my friend taught me is the rules of three.
Rules of three?
The rules of three.
A ver,
No
explain.
I don't know. It's just
What do you mean?
It's
just like a.
You know about man. I know you know about
Come
the rule
on,
of three.
dog.
We've had this. You repeat it 3 times. Are you to do something? You tell them 3 times, because at that point, like it's like the first time is like they're now aware that you want something. The
So am I
second
supposed
time,
to repeat my joke 3 times before they laugh?
No, but
No.
all right. Louis C.K. is a perfect example of it. If
All
you
right.
listen to it when he's doing like setups for jokes,
Okay,
like
I'm listening.
I'm trying to think of a particular joke, but
The Monopoly one?
the Monopoly one.
The one where he says that he plays Monopoly with his children, and that he tries to explain the concept of Monopoly and how it applies to real life.
That's very specific, Freddy. I've probably heard the joke, but I'm not recalling it at the moment. My point is, if you listen to some of his sets, I think the one from like maybe 2012 or 13, one of the ones where he's just black T-shirt and blue jeans, and when he's doing the setup for the jokes, he's like, "So I saw this." No, like I really saw this, and he's not just repeating himself; he's restating it,
and he's reasserting.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I got you.
You're pointing them in that direction. It's like there. No, not there. There. Not there. There.
Yeah.
Now you got it.
Got you. I get it. Now I got it.
But I mean, I love comedy. I mean, it's just like it's a medicine of laughter. How they say, and
It is. It
laughter's
is.
the best medicine. And yeah, I think I've learned from comedy is that. But it's just, I guess it's like a natural thing. I guess it comes from who you are, your background, and you relate it. You like, I guess, reflect and like, hey, you know what, this is what happened. It's funny. I mean, at that moment you don't think about it, but when you like, I guess, what's that word?
Which one?
Reflect.
Let me see. At that moment, like when you're living it. You don't
when
think
you're
about
living
it.
in that moment,
yeah,
you
and then
don't
through
think
the
about it.
days or as pass by, you think about it, and it just like, man, that was like, what happened, or what did this, and that's what's funny about it, because you don't understand it at that, you don't tend to be funny at that moment, but
it happened.
It just happens, and
makes
it
the
becomes a
moment
memory.
There's another little comedy. What's the word I'm looking for? one of the things that ties in, rule of three, and the other one is comedy is tragedy plus time.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is why, yes, indeed, there are funny 9/11 jokes.
There is.
There's some horrible ones that should never be said, but there are some. Yeah, it's.
I always laugh for everything. I don't know.
If you can get somebody to go from crying to laughing, it's almost one of the best feelings because you like, okay, they're still living. They're still capable of being alive.
I think it's comedy or laughter. It just makes you forget about what you're stressing out or what you're like, oh, I'm sad or whatever.
It's funny. It's funny that you bring up the 9/11 jokes because like my comedy is very like that. My sets, my comedy tends to get really dark, but I make it that way. I push it to where I make people uncomfortable, but then I bring them back and I make them laugh. Like that's my thing. That's how I do it, right? The reason that you bring that up is because one of the people that I've noticed that does that the best, and his demeanor is what helps him the most, is I don't know if you've ever watched Gerard Carmichael.
Yes.
He actually has a bit about 9/11, and it's real simple. And again, his demeanor helps him a lot. I love it when he says, as people and as Americans, we tend to they make us believe like we care about other people. But the truth is, we don't fucking care. Man, 9/11, you don't care. You know why you don't care? Because it didn't happen to you. You didn't give a fuck about those people. Let me show. And the lady was like, she had this face of like, yes, I do. Let me show you, ma'am, why you don't give a fuck you don't give a shit about 9/11. He was like, if on September 11th, 2001, you would have contracted herpes, those towers falling would have been the last thing on your mind. Even 13 years later today, if somebody were to come up to you and be like, hey, man, you remember 9/11? Yeah, that was a fucked up Tuesday. I had to go get cream and shit. So, and I thought that shit was just hilarious. But when he said it, because he said it in one of his specials, some of the room was quiet and just real calmly. He was just like, fuck y'all, that was funny. It's okay to laugh. That was funny. And it's true, because I feel the same way. If you can make it really dark, but if you can bring them back, you got them done. Now, if you make it really dark and you don't bring them back and you leave them in the dark,
te fregaste.
Let's put it this way. I've got some, I'm sure everybody's got like, a couple uncles or something like that, or just family members. Like some of my older relatives they seem like very like demure, like very like conservative people. And then they get a couple in them and they just, they're fucking hilarious. But it's always that biting humor. And weddings and funerals, I just, you know what I mean? Because like at the weddings, everybody's trying to be nice. It's, we're just two people are coming together in love. And then there's that one, older relative in the back standing going, I'd give him 18 months.
Yeah, it's just because, like, for example, funerals, I mean, anywhere, it's just, you don't expect to do something like that.
Oh, if you get a laugh at a funeral, you're on top. I mean?
It's just,
it's
like when your phone rings and it's like that, the old jokes from, what is it? I can't remember. And it rings and it's ringing like corrido or whatever, it's like, what the heck? Why does he have? It's just funny, like, I mean, it's sad, but it's just like,
but it's funny, and I'm a strong believer in that. I feel that when within comedy, when you can find the funny in everything, in the most fucked up situation, there's something funny like about it. I mean, even if you are at a funeral. Like that bit that Kevin Hart has where he says that he was at his mom's funeral, and he says in an interview later, he's like, you think it's a joke, but that really happened. That his uncle went up there and he gave a speech, and he was like, yeah, she was good. She was a good woman and everything. and you know she's no longer with us. That's very unfortunate. But before Cindy left, she owed me $25. So Kevin, how does that work? Does that come from you? Or?
Yeah, I mean, because you try to bring a good vibe to any,
I'll be honest. One of my favorite laughs I ever got off of somebody, just in a natural conversation, as well as one of the few times I ever kind of felt bad about saying a joke, was I was drinking in a bar with some friends, and this person, like an acquaintance, basically, we'd met him and whatnot, and he got stabbed by a crazy person, like not like hardcore I'm gonna die, but like, oh shit, there's a lot of blood here, and there was some shit surrounding it, like basically we were in Los Flores, and the bar owner basically had some like 13-year-old kid with like a mop bucket come out, and there was this older woman standing where the blood was, and she was like directing him to like clean up the puddles. And I waited about 20 minutes, and then we were drunk, so I just started like cracking on this fact. I was like, man, that kid was putting in some hard work. Did you see the dedication on his face? And about half the table was just mortified, like, oh my god, we just saw somebody get stabbed. And like my buddy is just like, he can't hold it in. He's just like shaking and shit. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I feel a little bad, but I feel better that he's laughing.
Yeah. And it can, man, like those type of things, like it can be, it can be funny. Well, I'm not gonna tell you what the bit is because I'm still working on it. But currently, I'm working on one that I've written down, but I just got to put the funny in it. But I'm about, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not afraid to say, because it, like you said earlier, it's me. Like it's my life. It's what I actually went through. It's real. Like I'm not really ashamed of it. But it's the first time that I'm actually gonna talk about when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was molested. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I was 8 when I was molested or whatever. But I don't understand why fucking people complain so much. I wish that woman would molest me again, but it hasn't happened yet.
It's like, whoa, don't touch me yet. Wait about 20 years and my bad.
Yeah. So, it's like stuff like, oh, the reason that I'm saying it is because aside from y'all, and this is the first time I've said it since, I told this to one of my friends, one of my closer friends, and I was like, hey man, she's a chick, but I was like, hey, I have this bit that I'm writing. She was like, well, cause she likes for me to tell her when I write new stuff, right? Cause she likes to give me her input. And I was like, I'm writing this new one, and I told her. As soon as I told her it's about me being molested, and she was like, whoa, why? Oh, she got real defensive. She was like, why would you want to put that energy out there, you know? And I was like, why not? And then she got real like defensive about it. It was like, well, I don't know if it's a good look. And I was like, I don't care if it's a good look. You know what I care about is if they laugh. If they laugh, I got it and I did my job. But yeah, I think, going back to what we were talking about earlier, things like that, like if I actually work it out to the point where it works on stage, because that subject is so sensitive in some people's eyes and ears.
Because they've gone through it.
Exactly. But the thing is that with things like that, I have to make sure that I make it really funny. Because if I don't, then I'm just going to be that asshole on stage that made it seem okay to be molested or whatever. So that's why I'm still...
Nobody cares that you had a pedophile joke. It's that you had a bad pedophile joke.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I guess it all relates to, like, for example, say I was a big girl, and you talk about yourself, you're like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm fat or whatever. Yeah. But as long as you don't try to do, as long as you accept it and you recognize who you are, what you've done, or what you say you farted or whatever, or I just farted, like, they're not gonna expect, things like that. Like
you brought up Sonia earlier, and I've seen Sonia do a bunch of different crowds, you know what I mean? And like you can see who is self-conscious as hell, because when she starts going into the, you know, the jokes about her weight, like some of those ladies are cracking up. You know what I mean? They're right there with her. You know?
Yeah, because
and some of them tense the fuck up. It's like don't you talk about that?
Yeah, like they get all offensive. I mean, it's not to offend anybody. It's just that's just being themselves. Or if you have a certain area and you make fun of yourself. I guess if you make fun of yourself, you know, right? You kind of like just talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's
exactly.
not that it's funny.
I call
it's
it
like comparing scars almost. It's like, oh, you got that one. Let me show you this.
Yeah. No, and it's also like pointing, like they say, pointing out the elephant in the room. Like there's people that have told me, like, don't talk about, like, they blatantly straight out told me, like, don't talk about your disability. Don't. And I was like, why would I not do that if that's the first fucking thing that they're going to see, you know? And I've tried it. I've gone up on stage and I completely leave. I don't say anything about it. What I've noticed is, number one, that those are my biggest failures. I don't get laughs. But what I figured out was that I don't get laughs because I noticed that if I don't point it out and I don't talk about it, after a while, and I mean a while, but by a while I mean like 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, I start to lose the crowd because they're more interested in like looking at me than like what I'm saying. So after a while, they're like, does he know that he has that, or is it just me? So they're more intrigued by that, and like, so then they don't pay attention to what I'm saying.
Sometimes I think you have to start by opening up what's obvious.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, like pointing out what the elephant in the room. And I found that's where I found another part of like the success or whatever. When I point it out to begin with, it's out there, they see it, I make them feel comfortable with the situation. Some of them, not all. But I make them feel comfortable with the situation, and they're like, "Oh, okay, then, haha, like I can laugh." Or
I think whatever. It does. I think no matter how good of a comedian you are, there's always going to be one person that's
that's definitely not. Yeah, that's
it deals with anything.
That guy is
singer,
an
asshole.
A
singer.
Right.
Even Dave Chappelle talks about that Chinese lady.
Right.
That told him at his show, he's like, and I'm never gonna fucking buy another one of your DVDs, Dave Chappelle. And he was like, ma'am, with all due respect, but Chinese people don't buy DVDs.
yeah, you know, she got fired.
Yeah. So
backfire.
So yeah, I also feel that is like that. Which, since we're talking about it, I don't think I've ever asked you, Sean. I've watched a couple of your sets, and your sets are real interesting, and they're funny. I find.
You notice he had to throw the caveat. He was like, interesting and funny,
and
but interesting.
Funny. But no, because your comedy, the way I relate to your comedy, man, I like your comedy because it actually makes you think. Like, I like the fact that you don't make the punchline obvious. But it gets me. Like, what I'm saying is, if you're in front of a stupid crowd, it's gonna take them a minute. That's all the fuck I'm saying.
You know, I have noticed this on there've been a couple sets where most of the crowd was clearly not getting what the fuck. And that's probably on me. I wasn't doing it the best I could. But that one person in the back who did like it made sure to come up to me afterwards, like, I like your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you're alone tonight, sir.
Sounds real classic.
what I was gonna say with you is, and I haven't heard many. I've seen you a handful of times perform, but I've noticed that I've never heard you really talk about you.
Right.
Have you ever? Do you have a set where you something personal comes up, or if you don't mind sharing, like what is there a reason as to why you don't do it, or you just don't find the need to?
Well, it's kind of like we were talking earlier about like stories that, like, I mean, in the right setting, there's stuff where you go, okay, I'm gonna drop a few personal details here, but only because I know you can like connecting those dots is gonna make it a more complete picture for you. And it kind of goes to what I've said before about political humor, but that also relates to a lot of aspects of like when you're talking about things that are it can get kind of personal for people. You know what I mean?
Relate to what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Depends.
Yeah, if you are kind of tiptoeing into something that is either A, somebody might get offended, or B, somebody like that might be a little too close to home for somebody as far as like, Jesus, I can't believe he's talking about that here. You know what I mean? I like to make it as relatable as possible. Like if somebody has never been through what the fuck I'm talking about, I want them to kind of at least go like, oh no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
even if like I don't have not experienced that before. So like I don't like to get like too personal about it. I mean, and it also goes to what I was talking about as far as comedy not being therapy. I think a lot of people do. We had that conversation about the Tasmanian comic where she basically came to a point where she realized that she wasn't actually thinking about the shit that was going on in her personal life. She was just getting up there and talking about it and kind of glossing. It was like, oh, this is how I'm dealing with it. It's like, no, you're not dealing with it. So yeah, man, I got a lot of fucked up shit going on up in this head, man. I can't let some of that stuff out, man.
Yeah,
like,
I got you.
I mean, don't be wrong. As a healthier, older person, maybe that'll be the thing. But.
And it's funny that he says that because about like comedy like not being therapy or whatever, because and we've had this conversation before, but like that's the part with him where I kind of disagree, because like with me I do like now, like I'm going through a lot of shit like right now as we speak and whatever. And I remember when I first started going through everything, like there was a couple of people that knew about it. That first thing they told me, you need to see a psychologist. You know, go talk to somebody. It'll help you out, so on and so forth. I never wanted to do it because everything that I thought that would happen happened. Like what I thought was like, I'm gonna go talk to this person. I'm gonna tell them my problems. They're gonna listen to me, and that's it. And I'm gonna pay them $200. That's what the fuck's gonna happen, right? That's what I was thinking. So I was like, nah, whatever. And people kept telling me like, you need to talk to somebody, whatever. So I did, and everything that I just told you that was gonna happen happened. I talked to them. They reiterated what I had told them, reconfirmed what I was going through, and they took my money.
Rules of three.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, how the fuck does this help me? You know what I'm saying? Like, can I have my money back? So anyway, point being is that and before I continue, if you've ever been to a psychologist and it helped you out, and it did help you out, good for you. Keep doing it. Whatever, you know, that's fine. I'm just saying it didn't work for me. But what did work for me is like, and what is helping me is my comedy. Every time I get on stage, every time I go on, you know, at an open mic or whatever, and I perform, everything that I do, I'm completely the opposite from Sean. All my comedy comes from a real place. It started at a real place. It ends at a real place.
Unlike my fake ass. So, what you're saying? So
I'm saying you choose not to talk about your life is all I'm saying. No, but it comes from a real place. It starts at a real place and it ends at a real place. And I only talk about things that I know, which is what I've experienced, right? Mm-hmm. But when I do that, it really helps me. So because every time I go, I leave everything on stage. Everything is left there. The fucked up part that I think about afterwards is and I've thought about it a couple of times. I think it's funny how they laugh. They really laugh at the stuff that I say, but it's really what I'm going through. So in a sense, like they laugh at my misery. That's what it is, which is fine. Again, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get that laugh or whatever. But point being is that I actually do use my comedy as therapy, and it's an outlet. It has helped me a lot, and it continues to help me, and it's free. They don't take my money, and hopefully at some point I take their money. But
well, I'll say this, Freddie, man, and I think that works for you because you're always you're thinking about your shit, man. Like we've had those conversations where it's like clearly you've considered like what it was that was either stressful or a little fucked up about the situations you're already talking about, right?
yeah,
Whereas I think there are some people that just kind of get up there and they're just like I think y'all might enjoy this, as opposed to going like, oh, I've actually thought about this and I know why this is funny. You know what I mean?
yeah. See, he makes
honestly,
a good
I think a
point.
lot of people get up there and it's almost like, let me tell you about this fucked up situation, like almost as if it happened to someone else, but it happened to them. It's like, oh, I got material now. And it's like, no, you had a situation. Now you have to go home and write material. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Which I don't think applies to you because, like I said, man, you're an introspective motherfucker. You're thinking about your shit.
Yeah, that's where he's right. Like it's real, but at the end of the day, as a comic or whatever, and even for you, and I really do encourage you, Maddie, to try it, and you might like it and you might stick to
I
it.
wouldn't mind.
But even to you that you were saying, you that you've never done it, you already automatically said, even if I were to go up there, I'm gonna talk about me and the stuff that I know and stuff like that. And I feel that itself, it's a good start. It's a good start because I've always felt the more of a real place that you come from, the more effective it's gonna be for you, and then it'll be you'll learn, like Sean said, you'll learn to put that comedic twist on it at the end, and then you'll get that laugh.
You know what? It's kind of coming to me as we're kind of talking about this, but I think that's where my point lies when I'm trying to write the joke is I don't want the joke to be, it's like, oh, aren't I special or aren't I interesting? It's like, no. Isn't life fucking weird? Like this shit that we're all experiencing.
Yeah,
this is kind of weird, right? Like you've seen it.
I'm not
It's
the
just
only
me.
one thinking of
That's
this.
exactly
shit, right?
it. It's not just me, right? That's
Yeah. And that's when, going back to what you said earlier, Maddie, the people relate and be like, oh, yeah, that's right. Or they're like, ha, it's funny because he has the balls to say it, but I don't.
Yeah.
But that's exactly how I
That's
feel.
almost
You know
one of my favorite experiences being on stage is when you say something that you know 90% of the audience is just going to go, what? And there's that one person in the laugh who involuntarily has that, ha!
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck yeah. Bingo, motherfucker.
Yeah.
As long as you make one person laugh, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. And
At least
that's
you did your job. You know what I mean?
that's the way.
The cookie crumbles.
And you walk off stage with fingers crossed going, buy me a drink, buy me a
Buy
drink.
me a drink.
Yeah. Well, I don't drink, but I take Coke.
Follow me on
Give
Facebook.
me a cookie.
Yeah, follow me. Follow me on
me.
Facebook.
We'll see.
Grow my following. So, and I'll bring this all the way back around, and unless y'all got something else that we can carry off of, but we'll wrap it up like this. But
I got a question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite joke?
My favorite joke?
Doesn't have to be a professional joke. Could be one of,
in general, that's a damn good question.
yeah.
Well, I think my favorite joke, and it's always the same one, which I'll never get, is that why did the chicken cross the road? Everybody always says it, and I think it's funny, and I always think of multiple.
There is multiple.
I'm like, that's funny.
There is
It's so
multiple punchlines to it. You want me to give you a dark one?
cute. A ver.
Really dark. To get to the other side.
Oh my god.
What's the classic philosophical answer? That's like some
No, but
Confucius
did
type
you
shit.
did you get it?
To get to the other side.
Like the dark side?
She's close. What does it mean though? She's damn near close.
Well, it's you cross the road. It's dangerous. You might
So you're
get
gonna
killed,
or you're
but
gonna die.
you have to get to the other side. There is
No.
no choice.
You
Like when you die.
Suicide.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. I like that.
nice.
Little twist on it. High five on that one, brother.
High
I haven't come
five.
across that one
Air
before.
5.
See?
No, but
yeah, take it to the other
I
side.
mean, I don't know.
Right on.
There's just so many jokes. I've
What
heard
was
from
yours?
everybody.
though?
That she just said it.
What?
The chicken crossed the road. Why did the chicken cross the road? I'm assuming that's. Did I
Yeah, why
misunderstand?
did the chicken cross the road?
But what? No, but there's a shitload of punchlines to that joke.
Exactly, that's
So
the funny
which one?
part. That there's unlimited.
Oh, like
She got specific. That's her favorite premise.
there you go. It's your favorite premise. Then got you.
Because I mean, I don't know.
Any other one?
No, I can't think of anything right now. There's so many.
Um,
There's so many.
You know, for a while, I'm doing this podcast with the comics before the show where I kind of sit them down and, just a little warm up type of stuff, make each other laugh. And a couple of them I opened up with, tell me what's your favorite dirty joke? And I stopped doing that because I got some really dirty ones.
I don't think I have dirty jokes. Just
My favorite, like the joke that I kind of carry with me, and it's only dirty if your head's dirty, but it's a couple's walking through the park and they come across this field of flowers, and the guy turns to the woman and he says, "It's always been my dream to run across a field of flowers with a pregnant woman." And she looks at him kind of like confused. She's like, "I'm not pregnant." And he's like, "We're not across the field yet, are we?"
oh,
that's a good one. That's funny.
Simple but elegant.
It is funny.
Mr. Sean.
I found it. I found it funny.
I don't know, but I'm just the Wonder Woman of the RGB. I come in the newspaper.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Right
Football
on.
related?
Yeah,
Oh.
I didn't bring it, but it is Wonder Woman. I had Wonder Woman and my name on it. I was like, oh, 'cause I love Wonder
Nice.
Woman. So I think I'm a Wonder Woman because I'm always.
Yeah, and you do 1,000 things at once.
I think you've named more activities in this podcast than I've participated in the last 10 years. So, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yes, I'm always. I don't know.
You
I
getting the
just-
response from the fans? They hitting you up like, "Go Wonder Woman, go!"
Right, I know they actually they nicknamed me the Blur because I just come out of nowhere. Like, where did she come from? But yeah, I guess they named me Wonder Woman in the newspaper. I'm like, oh, how exciting! I even bought my cap. Fight like a hero.
Nice.
And that's why she was wearing it.
Yes, because I'm Wonder Woman. But yeah, if anybody needs massages, I'm here.
So
Awesome.
soft spoke. I'll be honest. When you said like linebacker was your favorite position, I can just picture you nailing the hell out of some
Yeah.
chick and then like leaning over and be like, "Are you okay?"
Yes, I do. They'll find. I'm like, here, I'll pick you up. I'll pick them up. I don't know. They're humans.
So kind, and she'll lay you out.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, we're coming up on 2 hours here.
Oh wow.
I was gonna what I was gonna ask her. Then that's how I was
You're
gonna wrap it up. Was what is Maddie do on her downtime for fun?
On my downtime, like you mean like just chill?
Yeah, for fun.
What's the blow off steam activity?
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, just what do you do for fun?
Video games, knitting, beat kittens. What do you do?
I wish I could do knitting. I don't know. I think everything I do is fun. I like, even if I just chill,
but
it's just fun.
you're chill. What do you
Netflix is a perfectly acceptable answer.
Okay. Well, what I like doing, like when I'm not doing nothing, I like
Yeah.
watching movies. I love movies. Netflix especially.
What's the last good one you saw?
Well, the one that I'm watching right now is Parks and Recs.
Right
What's
on.
that
my
about?
favorite-
That's
That's my
the
favorite episode right now.
Amy Poehler, Chris Pratt. Trying to remember who else is on there.
Like,
Nick-
And what's
Nick
the
Offerman. Is that
um
the guy with the mustache who's always making the real like weird? It's like,
What's
I
the
have my
premise?
permit here. It's like, sir, this just says I can do whatever I want.
yes, I love. I guess Netflix and chill, but like literally just chill, and
I like
you
how
know,
you read
and pizza. Because everybody's always using that. Like, why? What does that mean?
Dude, I
Netflix
was
and
just
chill.
thinking of that right now. Like, I was thinking what I was gonna have for dinner because I haven't eaten, and I really don't want another peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
So don't have one.
So, yeah, so I was thinking of pizza.
Pizza's my
I
favorite.
was like pizzas.
I love thin and crisp extra pepperoni. And Netflix.
Favorite local
chill.
joint? Pizza joint.
Oh, I want a joint.
I'll
Whoever
offer.
offers it.
I'll offer after the podcast, but yeah.
I don't have a pizza. I don't know. Pizza Hut.
Perfectly acceptable.
I've never been. I've always wanted to go to that new one on 10th Street. Not new, but.
Have you been to the one that's here on the corner?
What?
Mamma Mia?
No, I haven't. I've been wanting to go there. I'm down to try anything. I mean, I love food, but pizza's also awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was craving right now, man. Pizza.
Sushi also as well.
Ooh, I'm right there with you.
So
Hayashi's down here on 10th Street.
I told you no. I like Kumari's.
Oh, are we picking a fight now?
Kumari. I learned a little bit of sign language with my friend Erica. She's deaf. She also played football.
Right on.
She's been playing football, so I love learning anything, and I've learned with her. So I'm like Kumari. I love her. This means sorry.
What were you gonna say?
Favorite pizza joint?
It was in Dallas.
I meant local, man.
Oh, local here? Shit.
Like if you could order any pizza from a place down here right now, who are you hitting up?
Pizza Hut.
All right, well, just to support local business, I like Armando's in Edinburgh. But
oh, cool. I've never been there. Take me.
I can't eat pizza anymore, but I'll watch you eat it.
Oh.
Just be like, is it good?
Something else. My favorite also Whataburgers. That was my number one.
Yes, that is
I
the
have it
shit.
in my app. I'm always getting those points.
Whataburgers.
A real Texas girl.
Yeah, it's Whataburger. I'm down for Whataburger anytime.
It kicks In-N-Out's ass any day of the week.
I'll be honest, when that incident happened up in San Antonio and the dude snatched the hat off the little kid and threw the drink in his face and all that, I was just it happened at a Whataburger, and like they kept playing the footage, and at a burger joint, Whataburger in Texas, like I just got a kick out of seeing Whataburger on the national news.
All right.
I was like, yeah. The kid shouldn't have had his hat stolen, but fucking Whataburger.
Whataburger's on display.
Fuck your In-N-Out.
Yeah, I've had In-N-Out, but and I remember people telling me that it was better than Whataburger. I was like, no.
You nasty ass little greasy fries. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, get the fuck
I like anything. You know what I mean? It's like depends where you go. If you go to Wendy's, you have a favorite thing. If you go to Peter Piper, so.
No, I would choose Whataburger over anything else.
Well, here's the thing. Little advice for anybody listening to this and see what you guys think. But like,
there's a shitload of people listening, Sean. Don't say that shit.
For anybody listening to this. Did I say if? If I said
Yeah,
if, that was a Freudian slip. I doubt myself, people. You must build up my confidence. But no, if somebody's like, oh, you got to try this place, you go, okay, you're going to take me and you're going to show me what the fuck, like you're going to order. Like I'm going to make you order because you're trying to show me your experience.
Yeah, that's how people do it in other places. Like when I've been to like other places, they'll be like, hey man, well, where can I get this? Oh, there's this spot, and they will be like, oh, you can get this or whatever, and this, like, and but down here, it's different. Like, hey man, where can I get this? Oh, well, you go there, and you get there, and what should I order? Oh, well, you pick, man. I don't know. That's up to you. I was like, dude, you brought me here. So yeah, you're gonna say something else, but I cut you off.
Was I?
Yeah.
No,
before
not much.
the pizza thing.
Before the pizza thing. Oh, I was gonna. I was just starting to wrap this up. I was gonna say, you want to, team name. I think you mentioned it earlier, and I've already forgotten.
Yeah.
My team name.
Yeah.
Your team name.
Oh, you're not playing for a team yet, right? You got to wait till the season starts up.
Well, I was playing for the Westaco Jaguars.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I think for 2 years.
And you said that you weren't gonna play this season. You told me last time, or you are?
I think I am. I think I am. I just wanted to right now focus on school. on myself, my healthy living, school, and try to prepare myself for my future.
Right on.
You know what I mean?
Hey, well, come February when you got the license and everything, you're ready to start taking that cold hard cash. Come on back and
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to basically prepare myself for the future.
We also created this whole thing because we wanted to bring like local talent, comedians, singers, and bands. But I always pointed out to Sean that we wanted to support local business owners and also like entrepreneurs and stuff like that. So you want to start your business, and even if you're just starting, or even if once you get that idea of like how you're gonna do it, come on back and bring us that material, and we'll be glad to have you again.
All right, thank you. I'm more than welcome.
It was fun.
of course, we hope you enjoyed yourself doing this.
Yes, I did.
We normally
You were smiling, but you're a nice person, so you may have just been doing that to humor us. So.
We normally
Nice
this is the part where we ask our guests for like the social media and stuff, but I'm not sure if you want random ass people following you. So I don't know if you
I've
want
never.
Anything you want to promote, social media contacts or any of that stuff, more than welcome. This is the time.
Well, I guess in the future, if y'all need a massage, I'm here. And I do photography. If y'all, I don't know, I just like to help out the community. Like, you know what I mean? Not everybody's have financially, you know what I mean? Like, they don't have the funds for anything.
Yeah.
I'm here as a friend. I mean, I love listening. I mean, people that have known me, like, they know what kind of friend I am, and they've appreciated me, and I don't need any money or whatnot to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm always the one giving. And that makes me happy, and that makes me make a difference in my life, and in the person's life.
Yeah.
And I guess that's my goal, and that's, whatever it is, whatever I can afford, or, even if I don't have anything, but hey, I'm here. And what else? I don't know, anything. I also do with the dessert. It's called the Queen's Kitchen. My friend Eliza is the one, who's the owner, but I also help her, and we do dessert events,
Cool.
party events.
That's actually good to know.
We do that too as well. So, what else? I guess that's it for now. I mean, I can't think of anything, but.
Well, I'll tell you what. If anybody does have a question about anything, the photography would Queen's
the
Desserts?
Queen's Kitchen.
Queen's
Yes,
Kitchen.
we do desserts, party stuff, face painting.
She have a website or an email?
Yeah,
or
she has a
anything?
website. I think it's aroyalcelebrations.com.
Sweet. Get it? Sweet.
But
But yeah, if you guys want to toss any questions at Maddie, you can either look her up on
Maddie Mor. I guess that's my name on Facebook. Maddie, MADDIEMOR, and that's how I mentioned massage.
Don't confuse her for a comic.
And by the way,
But I mean,
if
I can be a
anybody
comic if you want me to.
anybody sends you any dick pics, you let us know. We'll put them on blast. I mean, unless you're gonna hold on to them, like don't be like, I like this one, but go ahead and fuck with him.
I think they're all the same. I believe.
Oh, now you're getting cruel.
It's just a picture. I'm just kidding, because it's a picture. It's a 4x6.
That's funny.
No, it's like how like say the actual, the little mirror, the river mirror.
Yeah.
That says the objects.
And
I swear they're bigger than they appear. Yeah, sure they are, buddy.
I don't know.
And we'll wrap up with that.
What the dick picture?
She brought it up. No, wait. No, I brought it up, but she took it to a dark place. All right. Freddy, let them know where you're at.
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Freddy G.
You can find me at hatfieldstandup@gmail.com, as well as on Facebook and Twitter. And as I was saying earlier, if you have any questions, you want to ask anything of our guests or ask us about our guests, you can get a hold of us at bouncingbrainspodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Bouncing Brains on YouTube, as well as the audio version at shoutengine.com/bouncingbrains.
Yes, and one last thing that I want to add, because I've been doing this on Facebook, but I have not had much success. So I'll try to do it here. If anybody out there has some kind of talent, charisma, or do anything, or have anything to promote, and you would like to be a guest on the podcast, feel free to reach out to me or Sean to the same email address, and we'll get back to you. The more the merrier.
Yes.
Ease down, cowboy. I mean, there's some horrible people out there. But, fun times, y'all.
Fun
Yes.
times, and
Make
until
some
next
memories.
time, keep it tight. Bye.
Tight. That's what she said.